Hi, I'm Bailey.
Hi, I'm Madison. Today we will be talking about Egypt civilizations on the History Channel.
Madison, did you know how the Egypt civilization started?
No, how?
People could farm only along the banks of the Nile River where the sand meets the soil, so the settlers began their new civilization there where they could have greater chance of plentiful harvest.
Wow, really? When did their civilization start?
3500 BC.
Alright, now here's Kayla with more information.
Hi, I'm Michaela Weaver with more news here for you. I have Cleopatra with us, who was the first woman to reign in 5130 BC. Cleopatra, since you were one of the first queens of Egypt, tell us more about the elders in Egypt.
Okay, in 3100 BC, one of the first kings was King Narmer, who founded the first Egyptian dynasty. In 2950 BC, King Zoser had the first pyramid built in 2950 BC, and that's when pyramids started being built always. Later, the first military army was put together, led by King Tutmos III, and then I was the first queen to reign in 51 to 30 BC.
That wraps it up with Cleopatra. Thanks for discussing Egypt's leader with us.
You're welcome.
All right, back to the studio. Signing off, I'm Kayla.
Wow, Bailey, aren't you amazed by Egypt's accomplishments?
Yes, it's amazing. All the amazing pyramids and temples built, and herbal medicine that helped many people overcome diseases.
Don't forget math.
Ew, I hate math.
Oh, Bailey, I know you love arithmetic.
Let's get back on topic. Years ago, social structure was determined primarily by birth circumstances like gender and race.
Yes, and the pharaoh was surrounded by an upper class of noble priests, while the rest of the citizens were either peasants or slaves struggling to survive.
Didn't the Pharaoh run the government?
Yes, the pharaoh was known as a living god. The government he ran was known as a monarchy. He owned all the land, all the products, all the crops, and had everyone in Egypt bring him part of their harvest and money.
That's not fair.
Tough luck. That's how a monarchy works.
How do we even know how they ran their civilization?
Well, Bailey, funny you ask. Our next topic discusses the use of hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics, what's that?
They're pictures in abstract forms.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, the pictures and shapes told stories, kind of like how our letters form into words and then into sentences. But eventually they developed hieratic script, which was similar to hieroglyphics, but was more simplified by using dashes, strokes, and curves.
Did they have religion?
Egyptians had up to 2,000 gods and goddesses, which was based off of polytheism, or the worship of many gods.
So they didn't worship Jesus?
No, Bailey, that wasn't until years later. They worshiped gods who represented a principal aspect of the world, like Ra, the sun god, or Shu, the god of air.
What about mummies?
Well, people were mummified and then buried in tombs. Egyptians believed that once people died, they'd be reborn or reincarnated.
I feel like I'm learning so much about Egypt. Let's hand the mic to Valeria at the National Museum of Egyptian
Hello,
Artifacts.
here we are at the National Museum of Egyptian Artifacts, here with archaeologist Babalu. Mrs. Babalu, tell us about the many cities of ancient Egypt.
We have over 41 important cities in Egypt, but the main ones that are important to our people is Cairo. Cairo is the capital of Egypt, and the other important cities are Alexandria, Giza, Port Said, and Dizak.
Interesting. What was the city that had the most population?
Port Said is one of our most populated cities that has about 603,787 people.
Thank you for that lesson on ancient cities. Now back to the studio with Bailey and Madison with more info.
My brains are going to explode with all this information.
Well, just try to keep it all together for just another minute because we still have more to talk about. Let's talk about art.
What's so important about art?
Art reflected many people's lives in ancient Egypt. They created murals that covered the walls in the temple and throughout the city.
Big deal.
Well, it is a big deal because many of the paintings represented the good deeds of the people that died so that the gods would accept them in the afterlife. They also made statues of the gods, queens, and kings.
And just think, the civilization ended leaving no trace and most buildings gone.
Well, that's a wrap. This is Bailey.
And I'm Madison.
Thanks for watching this segment about Egyptian civilizations on the History Channel.